Boys One Cup.
It is a Monday, the 10th of August. Everyone relax. This is Two Guys, One Cup, an AFL adjacent podcast. I am Charlie Clausen, and as we forecast last week, Will is taking another week off. Probably good timing considering how the Bulldogs went against North Melbourne. But unfortunately, this Saints fan doesn't get to take a week off. And if I have to go through it, I'm going to bring in another Saints fan, Matt Stewart. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Charlie. Good to be here. Oh, that's not true. But it's what a lie straight off the bat. But yeah, I think you did give me feedback last time I was on that some listeners said we spoke about the Saints too much. So I'm happy to overcorrect today and not bring them up at all if you'd be up for that.
Look, there's so much to talk about that isn't St Kilda, but let's just take a moment. Let's get it out of the way. Let's rip the Band-Aid off real quick. I feel terrible because when we were setting this up, I said, are you going to the game? And you were 50-50. And I said, oh, no, you should go to the game. It'd be good to get a first-person perspective. So let's get a first-person perspective. How soon did you watch the AFLW before the curtain raiser?
Yeah, got there for the. I mean, it's funny because I'm often at the men's game, getting there, 5 minutes into the first quarter for whatever reason. But this one, I got there before the bounce in the women's game, so I was there nice and early.
Oh my God, that's real early, yeah.
Got a good spot there on Bay 35 and up in the nosebleeds, and yeah, it was fun to watch this season opener, and the crowd sort of trickle in from there. It was some great. I mean, the Blues jumped us in the women's game as well. They were up 3 goals. I think did we kick the first? No. But yeah, they were up by 3 goals early, and it was sort of like maintain that lead for the whole game. But we had some really good patches in that. There were definitely more positives to come out of the women's game than the men's game, I'd say. But yeah, overall, pretty frustrating game, and I think appropriately. I'm sure this observation's been made, but it was a day sort of looking after and all about people's mental health, and yeah, it was a rough one.
Rough one for Saints fans. I mean, as our mate Bart pointed out in our Saints chat, like the irony of this being Spud's game and it's two teams playing off the 10th. Very appropriate. Although Carlton are looking anything other than Spuds, and this is the thing that I'm trying to cling to, right? They turned it around. So, like, can we? Because, I at the start of the year, I'm watching Blue Abroad, I'm watching the talkback, and I'm watching their fans go, these 15 players have to go. Michael Voss has to go. They all have to go. Now, as far as I can tell,
one of those.
Yeah, they got rid of Michael Voss, but then the players became good again. So Is this a Ross Lyon thing? I mean, for the first time I can remember, there's real momentum behind the maybe Ross isn't the guy movement. Like anecdotally, I was out in the weekend, bumped into a couple of Saints fans, and they were both like, he's done. We're over him. Like whatever he brought we don't need it anymore. Let's get Corey Enright into the top job.
And that was before the game.
That was before the game.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like that's been there bubbling away since he was rehired. There've been people saying I can't. People were still bitter about how he left the first time around, which I absolutely think, time heals all wounds. I've forgiven him for that, and it did sound like it was our board to some degree who was stuffing him around. He's like, fine, I'll take an offer if you're not going to give me one. Is that how you remember it?
Yeah. I think the club definitely they ummed and ahed. They didn't, and Fremantle were just more proactive. So I think that, look, I mean, there's probably fault on both sides, I would say. Like, no divorce is is one-sided. But
it's not good for the kids either way, who I guess we are the kids, aren't we?
But I also think that maybe considering where we were at in 2012, maybe a forced break was good. Like, otherwise it could have just petered out and been very acrimonious towards the end.
True.
I just want to bring up this message that was sent to me by a listener. Hey, I love you, Charlie. Great start.
There feels like a butt's coming.
You got to stop defending Ross Lyon. I'm a Freo fan that's been through the way you speak about him. I was there. I was you. It's him. He's the issue. You're a legend. Love what you and Will put out. Thank you, Wayne, for that message.
Oh,
so
Wayne.
It's not me. It's him. That's reaffirming. I am a Ross defender. Look, I like Ross as a personality. I think he's quirky and weird. And when he was in the media, I really enjoyed hearing him talk about footy because he's just such a strange dude. And I also think he does set high standards, and I think he does have a good footy brain. Did you see his press conference after this game?
I haven't had the heart yet. I normally like watching his. Yeah, they normally make me feel better.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Although I don't know that. Well, I don't know if it'll make you feel better, but for the first time this year, he goes in on the players. It's really interesting.
Well, I think that would make me feel a bit better.
Yeah, and because he defends them a lot. And he said, look, apart from the Hawthorn game, and I can't remember, he named one other game. We've been pretty
Geelong
competitive this year. But he's gone, but something along the lines of there were players out there who just clearly didn't, want it enough. He said there's maybe, I think he named Max Hall and Brad Hill, and he said, but there weren't many others. And then he's gone, but the Twos had a good win. So we'll go get some players from the Twos who actually want to play. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the most, and so that made me feel a bit better. It's like, okay, so we've got some selection integrity going on now. The season's probably done. We're not making the wild card. So, yeah, why don't we bring in Charlie Banfield and Alex Taru and
the funny thing
Kai
is
Fincher?
Oh, 100%. Banfield, I think, I don't know how he played this week, but I thought he was all right when he did come in. Yeah, I think definitely. But the weird thing is the season isn't necessarily over. It all hinges on what the Bulldogs do next week against the Blues.
Yeah,
you'd have to think the Blues are starting strong favourites.
Did you see any of the Bulldogs game? The Bulldogs lost to North, and not and convincingly. North won convincingly. This is the thing. Like, there's this time of the year, the wild card's been great for holding interest because there are a bunch of teams that look just busted up and sore, and just and teams that ordinarily would be capable, like GWS losing to Gold Coast. That was a fairly close game, but they've been beaten up all year. And then the Bulldogs, I think Gerard Whateley pointed it out. Gerard Whateley said, have you been listening to Bevo's press conferences the last 8 weeks? He's been yelling from the rooftops, we're no good. We are no good. I'm trying stuff, but we're no good. So everyone who says we're disappointing, we're no good. Will's been saying this for 2 years, that the Bulldogs are no good. I don't know why everyone keeps rating us so highly. So North beating the Bulldogs, North could go above us by the end of the season, realistically.
We'd have to lose to the Tigers.
I don't think we'll. I mean, the Tigers were pretty good against Adelaide in the wet. That was your classic kind of drag them down to your level and scrap it out. But they're going to have to travel back from Adelaide after having played in a hard slog in the wet. So I don't know. It'll be interesting if just say there's wholesale changes, like 5 changes, 5 reserves players come in or 2s players come in, then it'll probably make it a bit more equitable, right? Which is interesting. But I would hope that our hungry 2s players would come in and dominate. But that's the thing that was most upsetting, I think, about last night. Injuries aside, obviously you lose Naz, whatever. But that was
whatever the most.
They just looked tired and sore and timid. That's the thing. When you see the ball hit the deck in the forward line and no one's throwing themselves at it, they're all just sort of hovering, looking for someone else to go in and get it. And it's like, where's the hunger? What's going on? Apart from Mitch Owens.
And the tackles, the amount of tackles that were broken.
Yeah.
They just look like meek, soft tackling. It was such a bummer of a game. Oh my God. It was sitting up, and I went by myself as well to make it real sad. Sitting there watching us lose back-to-back games by myself. It was, I was sitting next to this really polite elderly Carlton couple. And we, but behind me were these 2 18-year-olds talking about the first time they were going to vote, talking about their voting intentions. but they were like Greek Australian, hardcore, negative Saints supporters, and they came in. They weren't there for the women's game, and then they came in for the men's, and it was hard to sit in front of.
Did they just complain?
Just complain. Everything was a disaster. And I mean, they called it pretty right off the bat. Things were disastrous within the first minute or so. But I enjoyed their work. Do you know Alexi Toliopoulos?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was messaging him going, I haven't been able to look around at him, but their guy behind me is like the footy version of you. He was footy Alexi Toliopoulos. Instead of talking about like deep cut movies, he was talking about, and they were talking about the NBA. They were talking about like going through team by team. He had an encyclopedic knowledge, but everything was through this negative Saints supporter lens.
That's interesting to be at a Carlton game and the Greek fans are Saints fans. Like that'd have to be the
Koutafidis and the. Although we are slowly taking all the Carlton rejected players.
So, take some of their fans as well. Were the Blues fans outnumbering Saints fans, even though it was our home game?
I think probably, yeah. But I mean, it's harder to tell. I think it felt like walking around, it felt pretty even, or it almost felt like there were more Saints supporters around me. But when one team is playing well and the other one isn't, one's obviously going to be louder. And I think, the crowd number would definitely have benefited from the Carlton bandwagon picking up some steam under Fraser. This is the thing, right? They turn it around because of a coach. There needs to be, it's very hard for a switch to be flicked without some sort of change.
Yes.
What is it for us? I mean, the next one is just the season ending and a new season starting. That can be a catalyst. But
I don't know. I don't know if there is as simple as a switch, because I think, like, normally we have injuries hit us normally in one big hit. Like normally it's preseason, we lose like 6 players and we're playing catch up. This year it's been a sneaky amount of injuries, like just sprinkled out over the season. Like we're going to lose Naz for the rest of the year. We lost him for about 3 or 4 weeks in the middle. Sinclair, Flanders, obviously no King, DeConing getting injured. Like I just sort of, I don't know if it's the high performance team, because we got how many people did calves this year? Like how many Saints players did calves?
Oh yeah. Calves and hammies seem to be big.
Soft tissue. So maybe the switch is like switching out the high performance team. And
also they're just running out games, right? We've started games. We're one of the top 4 in terms of first quarters, we failed. Like how many games we talk about it as it was like a near positive that we were, and last night obviously excluded and a couple others, but every other game we were leading or near the lead in the, even up till 3/4 time early the last quarter, and then they kick away. Is that fitness, or is that just where they're we're playing teams that are a class above?
Well, last week when we lost to Sydney, where I thought we looked really good for 3.5 quarters, and I was like, okay, well, we've got a system that works. We just don't have the fitness or the seasoned players to carry it out. Like they tire, and then a good team will do you. But then Ross, in his press conference, was like, well, what we were trying to do was establish a system that we could just plug in, anyone and they could execute the game plan. But that's clearly the issue. So now we're going to look at personnel. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I was hanging my hat on the fact that the system was really solid and you could bring an hour into it. So clearly, but now Ross is saying, no, it's the players. So it's like, I don't know.
After last week, he said that too, didn't he? He said we need to get more quality in.
Yeah. I mean, I am as optimistic or as easy. Kane Corns came out last week and said Saints fans are the most easily pleased fan base, and I agree. I mean, there's a lot that you and I both got excited about Hugh Goddard. It's been like a
That's true.
200 game centre-half back. Spencer White.
The list of Spencer White. I was such a big Aaron Sipos fan. I thought he was going to change the game.
New Brendan Goddard. He can kick
Beautiful.
it 50 metres off one step.
Exactly. Well, which he did in a Super Bowl. Oh, actually, that's what he didn't do in the Super Bowl, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was the end of his career, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Look, this is as flat as I've ever felt in a season, and that's saying a lot.
Really? Because I feel like I don't know the
it
first
never got
Sydney
going.
game
the season,
felt so
I can't
flat.
think of
It didn't. Nah.
What was the highlight of the season? We haven't had a highlight. We didn't beat anyone
never
above
got on
us.
a run. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just been a real flat season. I just feel like it's been really disappointing, and I don't know if it is a case of a switch flick, but I feel like because Ross Lyon's in it. The scary thing is Ross Lyon's in his final contract year next year, and so is Naz, and so is Max Hall, and so is someone else, Alex Tauru or whoever else. And like if Ross goes, does Naz go? Because they've got a really good relationship. So we're sort of stuck. Like we have to kind of, unless Ross, I don't know.
And Bassett as well seems so tied to Lyon. Like it feels like, and I think they'll stay strong for another year, or at least, in the start of next year, this off season into next year. There's not going to be any doubt about it. I don't think. Although we thought that about Ratton.
Yeah,
and that happened pretty quickly. But I'd be very surprised if they don't start speaking very positively about next year, and then it would have to be another ordinary year for talk.
Maybe a succession plan, like Ross becomes director of football, like Paul Roos did with Simon Goodwin. Ross Lyon becomes director of football, and Boris becomes head coach. I mean, that's the other thing.
What do you think about this, though? I don't. What? I'm seeing that and I've seen it for ages, but in comments on social media after losses, we got to bring in Enright to the top job before we lose him. But doesn't he have quite a lot of control over the match planning, game day? So what?
Yeah, it's a good point.
If you're not happy with how we're going, why are people
looking
thinking
internally?
That he's the answer.
Yeah, well, because Josh Fraser. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he hasn't locked in yet. Can we make him an offer?
Jesus fucking Christ. The amount of like Schadenfreude that is coming back on me, because I was like 6 weeks ago, I'm like, Carlton are in an impossible position because they've tried everything. They've tried the experience coach. They've tried the stats guy. And now it's like, they're fucked with because and then that's like, no, they've just like happened upon the best coach that they could possibly get in at this time.
This is different from Teague Train, isn't it?
Different to the Teague Train, and they look good.
It's got to be different from Teague Train.
Like I mean, it's hard. You were there, so it's been more difficult. But watching them, I'm like, oh, they're a good team. Like that, objectively, they look big and strong. The criticism of Carlton used to be, oh, they can only play that contested game, and the game's moved on. Well, now it seems like they've got both the contested and the outside game, and like when Harry Mackay is kicking them from the boundary line, you're like, oh, that's a bellwether that things are going well.
But that's something, isn't it? It's confidence, and confidence like breeds itself. And I think that's it's so easy to talk like this, but you think of a few of those close games earlier in the year go our way.
Yeah.
What's the flow on from that?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, look at the best game of this round was Melbourne Fremantle. Did you watch it? Like, no, just I didn't even see the result till afterwards. Oh God, it was so good. Like Saturday was such a shit day for football, the Super Saturday. Like every game was a blowout, but it was balanced out by probably the best game of the season. And
when I knew I was doing this podcast, filling in for Will, I thought I better not watch any games.
Yeah, good. Just keep the tone of the show. We are footy adjacent.
Normally I'd watch way more games, but knowing that I was going to be on this podcast, I didn't want to come in
deliberately. Yeah, good. But yeah, the two high quality teams shootout. Like I think at halftime it was the highest combined score in, like it set a record. That was like 60 to like 70 or something like that.
Awesome.
But the way they both played the game, like you're talking about confidence. I mean, Broden and I did the pre-season preview for Two Guys, One Cup. And we were like, even Broden was very kind of like conservative in his predictions for where Melbourne were going to be this year. But the confidence and with which they're playing football, and like, look at where they've been the last 2 or 3 years. The questions around their list. They lose Petrarca and Oliver. And then
true.
They look so
exactly.
good.
That's another coach change that, I mean, it's the thing, though. King and Fraser, they're the two that probably are making some people inside the Saints go, oh. So it can change pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If you get the right guy. And it's just like they're confident, like they seem like fun coaches.
Yeah.
Believing in the guys. And I think sometimes you just do need to have a change. Like Bevo felt like that when he came in.
Yeah.
Now, to me, from the outside, it feels like...
Dimmer was like that at Richmond as well. Like those players, I always call it the entourage effect, where they're all just mates. Like all the players are just like best buddies. And that's how Carlton were playing last night as well. Like just really celebrating like the 1%ers. And I mean, I'm still on Freo just because I want, if the Saints can't play finals, and I'm all aboard Freo, the Freo fairytale.
Yeah, same. Love Freo.
But it is.
If they do win, I will be off them next year big time. I'll be like, all right, you're ready to go.
Yeah. Really?
Well, I don't do it on purpose. That's just how I was stoked for the Tigers after one. The second one, I'm like, all right, guys.
Dynasties are a bit gauche for you once they start talking dynasties.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right.
But
every time a team has more than one every 18 years, they're taking our one.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like as a footy fan, like if I centered my entire footy enjoyment around St Kilda, then I would fucking be miserable. I have to enjoy the success of other teams a bit. Like I'm big on Brisbane. Like I'm kind of like, can they do another three-peat?
For some reason, I don't mind them. I don't mind them going back to back. I enjoyed them. They're fun. Maybe it's just I love the city, Brisbane. It's a great town.
Yeah, I think
Fags is so funny.
Yes, Fags, the coach is adorable.
When I say Fags is so funny, I think he's really funny, but I think your bizarro version of him has merged in my mind with the real guy.
It's not that far removed, though, right?
But we invented the 12th man.
Yeah, our version of Fags was based on, I keep forgetting the Simpsons character's name. Gil, Gil. Oh, jeez, I know.
I really need it.
Yeah.
I need a sale. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Oh, God, his pants fall down or his suitcase is filled with like sawdust or something. But then you speak to people who actually have worked with Fags, like Dom Fay, who does the Raw Deal Lions podcast. Like they've had Fags on a few times. And the stories he's told me, it's like, that checks out. If anything, Gil is a favorable analog for who Chris Fagan is.
Love Fags.
But also, I
think that's great to hear, right? You love to hear that.
Yeah, but what I like about Brisbane, like I also love, and like Victorian teams, unfortunately, when we went to a national competition, this was taken away from us. But clubs that have a home ground that they can turn into a fortress, like the Gabatoir or the SCG, even Optus Stadium to an extent, or Adelaide Oval is the best example of it, I guess. Like, it just feels intimidating when you go there.
Feels like Victoria Park.
Yeah, but the Gabatoir, have you been to a game at the Gabba, a footy game?
Yeah.
It's like it's a ridiculous ground. It's so stupid. There's no parking. Like it's sort of like they've just dumped this stadium out of the middle of nowhere. But when you're in there, it's just like the Colosseum. Like it's perfect that the Lions play there because it feels like some Christians are getting ripped apart in the middle of the ground by some ferocious Lions. Yeah. And I must admit, like watching them touch up Hawthorn, extra satisfying. It's like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about, like, I've always been a fairly, I've never hated Hawthorn, even in their sort of dominant period. I was like, I just admire them, but now I hate them. Now, something's happened with this version of, I think it's the Sam Mitchell effect in the same way that, you can love Chris Fagan, love Brisbane because of Chris Fagan. I think Sam Mitchell, and I think he's a smart guy, and I love hearing him talk. But there's something about him that unnerves me. Like I almost feel like he's a CIA hitman or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he's got a piano wire that he can garrote you with or something like that.
He's going to hear a certain sound. He's going to be activated.
Yeah, that's right. Just a sleeper cell.
But he also, I think maybe we work in, the creative industries and he's big into AI. Maybe that's part of it as well. He's coming. If he had his way, there'd be no more movies made by humans. He'd be just typing.
He's trying to put us out of a job.
Yeah,
I love it. Right. I'll add that to my grievances. I think it might also be the Nick Watson of it all. Like I again admire Nick Watson as a footballer, but Nick Watson's archetype is pest. Like he is from the same mold as your Tom Papleys or your Stephen Milnes or Hayden Ballantyne's, like a little short king, incredibly skillful, great footy brain, very smart, high footy IQ. But there's just something about his little legs and his little arms that I'm and it translates to the team. Like when he gets running, look, this sounds horrible, but visually I find him off-putting to watch on the football field.
You can't eat while you're watching Hawthorn play.
Because I don't know, there's something about him that I just find unnerving. It's like if I saw a leprechaun in life, I'd be spooked.
Yeah, all right. You know what? Shout out to all of our shorter listeners.
No, I'm not. It's not short people. It's Nick Watson. It's something about the way Nick Watson's body and dimensions move. Like when he gets going, I don't know. There's something about him that I find really unnerving.
I reckon it's because he plays for Hawthorn's got to be part of it. When I said before how I don't like the dynasties. I think mainly I'm thinking about probably Richmond and Hawthorn.
Yeah,
but they're probably because they're big clubs who are local to us as well, I suppose. Whereas Brisbane's ones I haven't minded so much.
I can't. I mean, do you have any? I can't remember if I've asked you this before, but are there any teams that you hate, like that you just hate?
No, I don't. Okay. I don't hate any teams. I get sick of certain teams who like Hawthorn, especially because. And you had Limo on earlier in the year, and he talked about, like, straight off the bat, he was talking about, like, as a ratio of his life, how many years have been in prelims, grand finals, and premierships. And it's like, it's not fair. It's not meant, life's not meant to be fair. But I'm like, you've had your freaking go.
Yeah. It's too much happiness.
I was on tour with Dill last month. And he talked about how Dilrook, I don't know if you've ever had him on, he's a big Hawks guy.
Yeah.
And he, it's just like certain people, you can tell the confidence they have in themselves. And I'm like, is this a chicken and the egg thing? Or is it because you're a Hawthorn supporter that you have so much self-belief? You just get out of bed and think things are going to go your way.
But I guess, I mean, I think Hawthorn is the exception, right? Because you think about clubs like Carlton or Essendon. Like I was chatting to an Essendon supporter on the weekend, and my entire experience of Essendon supporters growing up is like they are also arrogant and they are also kind of cocky. But
it's taken a while to wear that off them. not anymore.
Not anymore.
That's true.
Like, and I'd say the same for Carlton fans, more or less. Like they're having a good run at the moment, but like even 3 months ago, Carlton fans are miserable. And
true.
So
I think older Carlton fans seem to have that. Although, I mean, my mum's one, and she's always felt a bit like a Saint supporter kind of in temperament,
Yeah.
Always feeling a little bit negative and pessimistic about things. But, I think some of the older Carlton supporters that I come across still have this feeling of like, this isn't right. Even though, how long do you have to be bad for before you think, this is how it is?
Yeah.
They're still thinking about the Jack Elliott paper bag premiership era. Like, we're Carlton, we're winners.
I guess, and this is the thing that maybe would prevent Fremantle from going all the way. Because I think Fremantle, I mean, this is newsflash, Fremantle are good, Matt. The team on top of the ladder are good.
Yeah.
But I think if there's anything that will hold them back, like this MCG loss to Melbourne, I think is quite interesting if you want to extrapolate into the finals. Like that, leading into this game, you were like, okay, it's important that Freo win because this will be the first time they get to, or the last time they get to play in the MCG before finals. It's also, they played at 1:00, which will be around the time that the grand final gets played, which is 11 a.m. Western Australian time. So there's just a couple of things to consider.
Yes.
And they didn't win. And like they played really well. And, they was 14 points up with, 10 minutes to go or something. So, like it wasn't like an embarrassing loss or anything like that. But if I was a Freo fan, and this is like, because I think Freo fans, and I call Freo the Saints of the West, there'd
100%.
just be a little bit of that self-doubt just gnawing
in
away.
that big run they've been on, I feel like it's really giving me flashbacks to 2009.
Yeah,
where it's fun and you're winning and you're going to every game basically expecting to win and never feeling out of it. But also as the finals came and it started to be, it's like, we lose this game, we're out all of a sudden. It doesn't matter what we've done before, and you feel and the pressure sort of build, and you're like, and also then having to play a proven team in Geelong in the grand final.
Yeah.
The thing that makes me nervous for them is if they come up against Brisbane,
yes,
or someone like that who've
a
done
seasoned
it before.
campaigner,
yeah,
who just knows. Because that's my point is St Kilda and Fremantle can't like reflect on their periods of dominance or excellence as go, we've done it once, we can do it again. It's all uncharted territory, and the pressure just builds. Like for Freo, because they have no flag, the first team that wins a flag will be immortalized. Like the captain of that team, those players will be immortal. Like our 66 team, who are every time, I love it now. Every time they trot out the 66 team, they're just like, we want someone else. We don't like this anymore. Stop bringing us out. Like we need someone else to win a flag.
97, I remember. Yeah. They've been like, yeah, totally. It is. They're like, please, we're tired.
We don't want to keep talking. We can barely remember
please. The game. There's less of us every year. Please.
You brought up Geelong. How have you been following this this concussion controversy?
I've only seen it right on the periphery. I've seen people asked about it but the question's been asked as if they know the context. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what's happened. But it's something about a side clause in contracts about concussion, is it?
Yes. So essentially what happened is College Asney had a history of concussions. He was evaluated by like a independent medical panel who said, look, we clear him to play. But Geelong were like, yeah, but he's also had this many concussions in the last few years, where even though he's cleared to play medically, we feel there is a risk. But he wanted to play, so they put a clause in which was like, you will not hold, if something was to happen, if you have to, long-term side effects from concussion, you won't hold. So the issue around it though was, it was not approved by the AFLPA or the AFL. Apparently there was no oversight on that. And the director of, or the CEO of Geelong now works the AFL. So there is a conflict because the AFL came out initially like, oh, nothing to see here. It's, it's just, it's been dealt with. We'll move on. And then everyone's like, oh, wait a minute. Like that sounds like, and then it sort of has raised a bigger question about how come Geelong seem to get away with these things. And there's been, I think Jay Clark wrote a list of like, these are the things that the breaches that Geelong have done that seem to, and look, I'm no huge fan of Geelong, but it does make you go, yeah, wait a minute. Why does Geelong get away with all this stuff? Whether or not, like, have you ever read Mick Warner's book, Boys Club, which is like this sort of insider's look at how the AFL is run?
Oh no,
Mick Warner, who like the grumpiest journalist in Australia. But he basically sort of breaks down there is basically a private school stranglehold on the administration level of the AFL, and that they protect their brand to the point of, he doesn't outright say corruption, but like he talks about the Melbourne tanking saga, how they brushed that over, the supplement scandal, how they needed a scapegoat for that, but they brushed over that. And he says it's all these instances. Like, I think Aussie Rules is unique in the sense that we have these gigantic memberships. Like, the club is run essentially by the fans, yet the AFL operates as this independent body who are unaccountable to all these members, you know? So it's very interesting. I sort of, I hope that there is some kind of reckoning, just for the fact that I want Geelong. I want Geelong to have some bad luck for once, like our club has had our entire lives.
Like Carlton, talking about the brown paper bag era of Jack Elliott for the Blues, they haven't recovered since those punishments, which is crazy. It's like occasionally there's these brutal punishments handed out. The Bombers are the same.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, other ones sort of.
Well, as everyone pointed
there isn't
out,
a lot of consistency.
Ken Hinckley got a $20,000 fine for making an aeroplane gesture to Jack Ginnivan.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to see here with a player having a clause included in his contract that had no oversight by them. Because that's the other discussion, is that Geelong are like, his manager was aware of it. And the manager was like, I was not aware of this. Like, I knew there was a contract, but I was not made aware of this clause that was put into the contract.
Wait, what? How does that happen?
I don't know.
He didn't read it?
Bad management? I don't know.
I don't know why he'd be admitting to that.
Or if it was added, like maybe the contract already existed and it was an addendum. I don't know.
Oh, that would be really sus.
Very sus. Very sus. Anyway, Geelong beat Essendon by almost 100 points.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they need to be demoted to the VFL.
Yeah, relegated.
Relegated for a couple of years. They just, I don't know, they do feel like our closest version of one of the big four in the EPL. You know,
yes.
they're always up there. Players always want to go play for them. And they're always
they turned it around. I mean, they are a success story. Like, if you think about Geelong's reputation in the 90s, they were chokers. Like, they kept making grand finals and they couldn't win. And then the 2000s is where they really established the on-field success, but then, like you say, Geelong, the town or the Great Ocean Road, became this destination, you know, where people wanted to move out of the city. It's like, that's fortuitous, isn't it? Plus, they also, you know, and I also think there's a large, like a voting block there. So whether it's a Liberal or a Labor government, they're always looking to win votes by, you know, giving them money to put another.
Kardinia Park seems to be permanently being upgraded.
Yes,
like
of course, because you've got to please the voting block.
Yeah, that's how you know democracy works.
Yeah.
It's also like just a particular kind of person who is keen to get outside of the big city and live in the country. Just happens to be have a big overlap with good footballers. A lot of good footballers want what Geelong offers.
Yeah.
It's so perfect for them.
Well, I think that it'll be interesting now with Tassie coming in, because the appeal of Geelong was always like, if you're a country footballer, you love playing footy, but you're not so much into city life or the media focus or whatever, go to Geelong because they'll give you a farm. You know, you're out of the fishbowl, blah, blah, blah. I wonder if Tassie, that becomes a real like appeal for Tassie. Like, I guess the question is, can you win a premiership with a team full of country footballers?
Yeah. Well, I think Geelong pretty much do that, don't they? It's like a lot of their players are.
Bailey Smith ain't no country footballer.
Yeah, right. Fair. That's a fair call.
No, I think I think you're right. Like in the game that I went to last year, that was the most striking aspect, sitting in the crowd after the game was the players, how they run around and high five the fans. Like they genuinely knew most of the people in the stands. Like it did feel like a big country game. They were just like chatting to their local butcher and whatever, and had family and stuff. So it's like I can see the appeal 100%. I mean, I don't know what it means for the Bulldogs, the Saints, North, Melbourne. Like, how do we build that kind of community?
Well, yeah, the problem is the Saints base in Moorabbin, which sort of extends seemingly to Brighton, is where they all want to live and be around. That's a different kind of person,
Yeah.
We talk about the players who didn't want to be there. They wanted to be at a cafe or something, whereas Geelong players, they if they're not playing footy, they want to be tackling a cow or something. They still want to be
down the Great Ocean Road,
doing something hard.
Yeah. Oh my God! Like, can you remember the Seaford days? Like, can you imagine?
What a funny blip that was.
What a weird decision. And the thing that used to crack me up, my brother drove out a couple times to watch training, and he was like, "You don't understand. Like, there's fucking nothing there. Like, it's literally like an industrial estate with nothing around. Like, you talk about players running cafes. What?
It was right on the highway.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But there's no, like, you talk about cafes, like the Saints of before Seaford and post Seaford, they can go down to Church Street or Bay Street in Brighton, go to the pantry, get a lovely coffee, maybe a baguette. Back then, apparently the only place the players could go was a Subway. So you have like all these guys on their lunch break or whatever, like professional footballers all sitting around those shitty little tables at a Subway getting a foot long.
Oh man. Yeah, that was a weird, and that was all based on just like trying to call the bluff of Kingston
Council. Yeah. Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous.
Was bad for both parties in the end. You'd think now, looking back, like Seaford, you're getting pretty close to farmland there. Maybe we should have moved a bit further out.
I mean, I mentioned earlier that I'm always an optimist when it comes to the Saints. I was actually like, this is a good idea going to Seaford. Like, we can own the peninsula. We can become like, from Mornington Peninsula right up to St Kilda. We'll own that whole coastline, idiot.
I buy whatever they sell. It is like, Kane Corns has seemingly become more like he's dedicating more time to trolling Saints fans in particular. But
it's weird, right?
He is a bit right that we are easily pleased. And I know I am as well. I think you got to be, right? Why are we still doing it? I just got my 37-year membership this year. I like what? Like, it makes no sense. I'd hate to know the amount of money that those 37 years have cost for memberships and merch and everything, but you got to believe, otherwise I don't know, what would you be, why would you do it?
Do you honestly believe though? Like, have you gone into any season actually believing?
When Sipos was...
when Sipos was Sipos to white.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what... the Dunstan, that era. I felt... I believed every time.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm a sucker. Yeah, Luke Dunstan, I remember... I used to think Jack Nunes was going to be a future captain of the club, captain of the Saints. Jack Nunes.
Mav Weller screamed captain to me. Oh, really? And I think probably there's other things. I reckon all of those players landed at a different club and probably have had 250 game careers and won premierships, It was not a good club to land at in the
Richardson era.
In between the two Lyon eras. And maybe including the second Lyon era. But it does feel like players are coming on a little bit more this time around, wouldn't you say?
Look, I think there's been some positives. Look, this is a bad day to get us on the pod, like after the game yesterday. Because prior to that, I would say there's been a lot of positives. Joey did something on Fox Footy during the week where he went through, like, you saw that, the analytics, whereas like they've improved in this area.
But he did say they have to win the game against Carlton to frank it or whatever. I thought the funny thing was the catch-22 was if we did beat the Blues, we'd go ahead of them and they'd drop out of the top 10. So if we beat them, we're beating a top 10 we haven't been a top 10 team, but if we lose to them, we've lost to a top 10 team again.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about St Kilda anymore.
Why are we doing this? Unplugged, which we both listened to, they've been smart and just had the last 2 weeks off.
I know.
They say it's for other reasons,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they've got their reasons. But one of them's got to be, it's the Saints. We just don't want to talk about it. Yeah, fuck this.
Sydney absolutely, like almost 97 points they beat Port Adelaide by. I do not want to see a Sydney flag. That if you're saying like you're sick of like Hawthorn and Richmond, I'm just sick of Sydney. I'm sick of Sydney getting Charlie Curnow. I'm sick of Sydney Isaac Heaney. I'm just like, I don't look. If anyone's going to take down Freo, I just don't be Geelong, Hawthorn, or Sydney.
Yeah, all right. I'm happy with that. I'd probably of those 3, I'd take Sydney. Although, yeah, I know you've got big baggage with Sydney. Shout out to Adam Spencer for listening.
Yeah, I don't know. Just something happened. I don't know if it's their fans. I
think you're closer to them. Yeah. You went to games and you sat amongst them.
I know, but I've sat amongst lots of shitty fans before. But there was something about the
including
Sydney
Saints
one.
fans.
Yeah, including Saints fans. Like, I don't think, Saints fans are by no means like the best supporter base going around. I don't know if any team could claim that. Maybe Freo fans. I've never had an experience at a game with Freo fans and thought, what a bunch of pricks. I can't actually, who have I ever thought that? But North Melbourne don't really bother me. Port Adelaide, I don't like Port Adelaide fans. I don't like Adelaide fans. These? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it just fit like the stereotype in my mind of the silver spoon makes them harder to love. But something I try and do whenever I'm feeling like I'm disliking a team, I think of one of their supporters I like, and it makes it easier to feel good about it.
Yeah.
And I think I've got at least one person for every team.
Okay. That's a good way to do it. Personalize it.
Because it's easy to do the other way. Like the Suns, I don't know why, but Damien Hardwick really rubs me the wrong way. So when he went up there, I'm like, I went from really being into the Sun, like wanting to see the Suns succeed, to being like, I'm happy to wait till the next coach comes there. But then I think of, I think of Tom from the footy with Bro and Arnie Donna. Tom, he's a big Gold Coast guy, so I think of him. Yeah,
but do you know he's also an anti-Saints guy? I picked this up there was some coded language in the first year or so, maybe the second year of the footy, where I was texting Broden saying, like, I don't know this Tom guy, but there's a problem with the Saints. And then I had Tom on the show earlier this year, and he was like, yeah. And then he was saying that he was giving me shit about like this big spending spree that the Saints have gone on, and it's going to blow up in your face and stuff. And I was like, yeah. But you know what's going to happen to the Gold Coast is you guys are going to fall in a heap and all your best players are going to leave. And it turns out we were both right. Misery loves company. Misery loves company.
Well, there you go. You might have taken away my one reason to feel bad about the Suns falling in a heap.
I reckon they could beat us in a couple of weeks. And that's another.
Definitely.
That's a Thursday night game to finish our season. So prime time, which we've just
the fixture. I normally I'm like, when people complain about fixturing stuff, I'm like, come on, we're struggling for things to complain about. But they do seem to have done a weird job this year. And why would you finish the final round with that game is odd.
Yeah, AFL. Andrew Dillon is just like the most uninspiring, like CEO of a company. And you should have seen him, like he did the rounds on Saturday because of this concussion thing. And mate, the kind of mealy mouth, lack of an answer, like there's just something about him that does not, he just doesn't have, he seems like a nice guy, but not a leader at all.
Yeah.
And then you sort of look at what's happening with the NRL and how well they're doing and how, like, you know, in terms of ratings and promoting the game, and they've got the State of Origin, which is the jewel in their crown. And I don't know, man. Everything about this, the year started weird. It was that kind of staggered round zero, and then we had buys within the first 2 weeks. Like that. For me, this season felt like it never really got going. This is probably the most disengaged I've felt in a football season in recent memory. I normally love it. Even if the Saints are doing badly, I can find something to get into. But this season it just felt like there's everything but footy is going on.
Yeah, we're lucky that the Dockers have saved it a bit, I think. But that's a pretty great story, and if they go all the way, it's going to be pretty fun. But the Blues, I think the Blues have been a great story.
Yeah.
I do have. I have. Yeah, I know. I was messaging with my mum afterwards. She's diehard and bleeds navy blue. She's inconsolable after losses and stuff. Very much like a Saints supporter, but she was. She's a good winner though. There's no doubt about that.
Oh,
and good. She was like you were talking about maybe off air, the Carlton supporters you've been talking to. They've been pretty. They're like, it's a. They're feeling for Naz, and they would have preferred to play us at our best. But yeah. What are we talking about? Oh yeah. Well, I think the Blue. I'd be. I know the Saints fans. I'm a unique Saints fan who doesn't mind the Blues.
Yeah.
I think technically, if I have a second team, it is them because of family. But
don't tell Nick Splitter that he'll bloody.
No, I have told him that he's not a fan of. No. He doesn't like that side of me. I don't think. But I'd love to see them win the wild card game if they make it. I mean, I wouldn't hate it if they lose to the Dogs and the Dockers and, we Bradbury our way in. Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. That would be such a great finish to the year. But I just feel like with the injuries we have now, Naz is not getting back.
We'd be making up the numbers as much as...
we'd get pumped. At the moment, we'd be taking on Geelong at Geelong. If we would make because Geelong is 7th, so if those positions hold, then we'd be playing the Cats or Collingwood. I think the Doggies are probably not going to make it, but
I don't think. I think that if we were making it and going in with some form, I wouldn't mind playing the Pies, or the Cats at a neutral ground. We like them at Marvel, but at Geelong, obviously we don't love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a depressing episode. No, it's good. Footy's great. Here's 2 storylines I can get behind. Fremantle winning the flag, Brisbane Lions going for a 3-peat, or Melbourne. I'd even be happy for Melbourne to go deep. Maybe not win a flag.
Yeah, because they haven't had their Melbourne premiership.
Yeah, okay. All right, you're talking me around.
So I think that's and I love Jack Steele. I know it's hard when players leave, but I mean, I couldn't believe the Blues booed Stocker at points last night. I'm like,
they booed everyone.
Him? Yeah, but they Stocker. He was sort of pushed out. Like it's not like. Then we pick him up as a delisted. Yeah,
he didn't walk out. Yeah.
And it felt really weird to me to hear them booing a Silvani. I'm like, no class here at all, Blues. Come on.
Yeah.
Silvani didn't. He also was like, he'd given. I don't get it especially when you're on the up. Like part of the reason you're on the up is because these players left.
He looked so proppy too, Jack, last night. Like clearly that shoulder is
Jack
not
and
right.
TDK both were not. Were both hobbly.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with TDK, but they had vision of him on the bench, and he was doubled over.
He got crunched at one point. Yeah, there was. He did get fell awkwardly, I think, in the first quarter, maybe.
Yeah, he's a bit fragile.
Yeah, he didn't touch it much.
No.
He looked what do you think about this? He looks like the inverse of Nick Cave. Like albino Nick Cave. You see that at all?
Yes, I do. It's the hair mainly. Yeah. But he's like angelic Nick Cave.
Yeah,
if Nick Cave is like the Dark Lord of Australian music, then he's like the angel version, like a tall,
I think they've both got a slightly upturned nose.
Yeah, little puggy little face. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
TDK is the AFL's angelic Nick Cave, and that is as good a point to leave it. Now, you've got a special that's just come out, Matt. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. It's on the Humdinger channel up on YouTube. It's called Bad Boy. There's a brief mention of the Saints, I think. I nearly always try and squeeze in one mention of the Saints when I do an hour show. And yeah, that's it's available now. It came out on Saturday, and it's getting some love. People are saying it's funny.
That's great. It's really
can't get much higher praise than that for a comedy special.
We'll put a link in the show notes if you want to check that out. We'll be back again next week as we slog towards the finals. I don't know if the Bulldogs or the Saints will make it. So Elise will have some really highly entertaining, highly football adjacent commentary over the next few weeks.
Bring back the pocket player profiles.
Pocket play. You know what? I've been saving some. I've got a ripper. I've got one from Jason Dunstall in 1987.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's also amazing how many players in the 80s nominate Alf as their favorite actor.
Alf from the Alien or
Alf the Puppet? No, Alf the Puppet. There's at least two players who name Alf.
That can't be a coincidence, can it?
I don't know what was going on there. I thought marijuana got stronger now. Maybe in the 80s it was stronger. Matt, I like to sign off with a football cliche, as you know. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think of yours. But we'll be back again next week. Remember to support us at our Patreon. You get ad-free and early episodes of every show we do on the Everyone Relaxed Network. But until next week, play on, not 15.
Stand.
Little footy-loving dickheads, dreaming about a Premiership Cup. We love our clubs, but they never win. 2 flags in 100 years. A shit house. If you think we'll be insightful, clever, or just well-researched, we're here to say that's not the case. We'll just go out and wing it. We are 2 guys, 1 cup.